Actually, it was fine. I expected it because, you have a 100% track record as long as people follow exactly what you do. I'm no exception. I was actually a fairly easy situation, and I expected it to happen, and it did. And there were no surprises whatsoever. Everything worked out just the way I had expected it to. The only surprise was that it was actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to be working with Aero and Marine. Yeah, my name is Andy Hudson, and our company is a financial company out of Orange County, California. And I bought a Vans RV-7A, which is an experimental plane, mostly for work. And it was, a fairly substantial purchase for me. And I was very excited to get the process moving. And it was very difficult to navigate all of that paperwork and everything like that. And Aero and Marine Tax Professionals certainly came through on that front. There were so many little nuances that I had no idea about. And actually it was the first place that I went in order to just answer some general questions about buying a plane and what the ins and outs of that were, specifically relating to California. I found out about Aero and Marine. Actually, I met Tom personally when I was at an event at Palomar Airport many, many years ago. And he was just very kind and answered all my questions and open about everything. He never asked me about business. He never asked me really, he wasn't prying at all. He was just informative, which was actually very nice because not a lot of the other people there were. So it was very nice to learn that process from him. And I just followed up over the years and kept listening to his webinars. And eventually when I was ready to buy a plane, it was the first call I made. Well, the initial sales call with Tom was, I wouldn't call it a sales call. I would call it definitely a consultation. I mean, he was very upfront, saved me a lot of time because in my business, time is money, and it really does make a difference as to how long things take. So he was very respectful of that. And we went through everything. I had a lot of questions. He answered all of them very quickly. It was actually something that was obvious that he had done many, many times in the past, and he was ready for every single one of those questions. So that was probably the best experience so far. Well, the transition from Tom to Julie to Emily, whoever, it was all very seamless because everybody obviously works as a team. Everybody knows what everybody else is doing. And that's really important because I don't have to restate everything every time I send an email in. If I have to send it to someone else, they already know, that I'm a client, that I'm working with Emily, that I'm working with Tom, what have you. And it's a very quick process. So that is really good. I don't have to go through everything multiple times. It was very easy, email and phone. I hardly ever had to call. It was mostly email. The instructions on what I needed to do were very clear from the very beginning. That was critically important for me to understand that because this process is not for everyone. It is for people who are seriously looking at using their craft for business. I think is really what it's for. I think people using it for personal, obviously that would help as well, but I'm really for business. This is the best solution by far. Working with Emily was very easy. One thing that I was very surprised about was how fast she got back to me with very simple questions. I mean, there was never a single question unanswered. She got back to me really quickly. It was just super professional. That's the best way to describe it, is very professional, on the job about everything. No question was too dumb to ask. There was nothing like that. It was just a really easy process. And I did have a lot of questions because this was my first time. My favorite part of working with the team, I would say, would probably be that I was at no time was I hesitant to ask a silly question or to request, for them to tell me over again what to do, because they were just so good and used to dealing with people who have not done this before that it was very nice of them to to walk you through the process. Walking through the process was the most important thing. And I got guidance every step of the way. And that was critical for me to get my exemption, which I eventually got, by the way. Well, I mean, the most valuable part is twofold, really: saving time and money. Mostly saving money, obviously, but saving time as well. Because if I had to do this myself, there's no way I would be able to figure it all out. There's absolutely no way. So that is a huge issue. And for me, I only had a small plane. My numbers were in the tens of thousands. I mean, there are people out there. I mean, I can't even imagine somebody, with a big jet or something like that. If they don't make that call, that would be really tragic. Well, obviously, I'd recommend you, no question about it. I mean, I would say make the call, because the worst case scenario is you'll get information that you didn't have before, and you can make a better judgment call on whether or not this process is for you. I mean, if you are buying something of that size and expense, and you are not looking for every possible way to reduce your tax burden on that, that's on you, you know, and this is a very easy way to do it. It just requires a little patience, calling, and you know, being willing to go through the process, which is actually not difficult at all. I would say, remember that these people do this all the time. Don't second guess them. Do what they tell you to do, and you'll get your exemption. Don't think that you can reinvent the process. Don't try to cut corners. Just do what they tell you, and you will not have a problem. The other thing would be to make sure that you're following the guidelines that they give you to the letter, you know, and do the best job that you possibly can. And, you know, the standards are actually very easy to meet. If you can't meet those standards, then, you know, I don't think anybody can help you, much less Aero and Marine, but you can certainly get it done. And it is absolutely important that you call, because the smaller the plane or the or boat or whatever that you're going to get the exemption for, probably the more the money means to you. Right. So that's really important to make sure to get that savings.